आज हम कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन के बारे में पढ़ेंगे। सो कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन के लिए वी आर मूविंग टूवर्ड्स द चैप्टर. So first thing we should understand what is coordination. So if we talk about your coordination, so coordination is actually working together and in an interdependent environment. So this is the coordination. So different organ systems that are present in our body, they used to work in a coordinated manner just to give a output that used to maintain a constant state of environment. That constant state of environment, or we can say that is a physiological equilibrium, we call it as a homeostasis. So homeostasis. After that, how the stimulus are being given to. So the stimulus, they are of two types. One is your external stimulus and another is your internal stimulus. As the name suggests, the external stimulus, they are from the surroundings, or we can say they are from the environment, in the form of, they can be in the form of heat, light, sound, or anything else. Whereas the internal stimulus, they are due to the different reactions that are going inside our body, and they are due to the hormones, enzymes, or they can also be to some type of the proteins can also be there. So and these internal stimuli, they can be in the form of the hunger, thirst, or sex drive, etc. Next we are going to study about your types of movements in plants. So for studying of type of movement of the plant, first is your phototropism. You can see over here, so phototropism is there. So this is a phototropism, and this, if we break this word phototropism in two parts, one will be your photo and another is your tropism. So whenever the photo word is used, the photo word is for light and your tropism means for growth. So this type of the movement is due to the growth. Here what happens, when the light falls on the plant part, the plant used to respond to that source of the light in the form of growth. And this phototropism is further divided into two types. This further divided into two types. One is your positive phototropism and another is your negative phototropism. Another is your negative phototropism is there. So negative phototropism means, just a minute, negative phototropism means the response is in negative terms. That means the growth will be away from the source of light, and this negative phototropism is being shown by the roots. And next type of movement is geotropism. As the words again suggest, the geo means earth. Whenever there is the growth towards the earth, that is positive geotropism. Another is when it is away from the earth's surface, or that is the negative geotropism. And negative geotropism is shown by the stem, whereas the positive geotropism, it is shown by the roots. Next is your photonastic movement. If we talk about the photonastic movement, these, again the word photo is been there. If you see photo is there, so this photo means light, and nastic movements are those type of the movement which are due to the change in the turgor pressure. So here this photonastic movement is in response to the light, but here turgor pressure changed, and due to which the petals of the flowers, they used to open during the daytime, and whereas when the light becomes dim, they use these petals of the flowers, they used to close. Just in the case example is your lotus and noon flower. Another is again seismonastic movement. Here again you will see, here again we are using the word nastic over here. So if we see nastic, so that means again there will be change in the turgor pressure will be there. And seismonastic movement, and this movement is due to the stimulus is there touch. So mechanical touch is given to the, and this type of the response has been seen in your one flower plant, that is your Mimosa pudica, which we also call as Chui Mui or Touch Me Not plant. Fifth type of movement that is found in your plants is your hydrotropism. Hydro, and whenever hydro word is used, that is used for water. So the roots, they used to show the movement towards the water, and this is also been seen in the several grasses. Sixth type of movement is your chemotropism. Chemo words implies for the chemicals, in response to the chemical. So this movement is generally seen where their pollen tube after pollination, it used to grow towards the ovary. So this type of movement is your chemotropism. And again, one more movement is that is circumnutational movement. If you see circumnutational movement, so a picture is there, you can see this picture is there, or you can the tendrils of the climbers, they used to coil around the support or any object that is being near to them. So how this happen? This happens because the tendrils, the two parts are there. One, the portion which is in contact with the portion which is in contact with the object, it grows slower, and the other side grows faster, and due to which coiling takes place. So this type of movement is called the circumnutational movement. Moving to the next slide. So next slide we are going to discuss about the growth regulators. So these plant growth regulators are there. So they are there are several types of growth regulators: auxins, cytokinins, gibberellins, hibiscus acid, ethylene, and they are also known as the phytohormones. So the why do we don't call them the hormones? Because the thing is, technically we cannot call them a hormones, because the hormones, they are being synthesized at a particular point, and after that they used to act at the target site. But in this case of the plants, we cannot say that they are being synthesized at the site and used at all that site only. So that's why we are calling them as a regular growth regulator. So first we are going to discuss about your auxins. So auxins, and several auxins are there. One of the natural auxins is your indole 3 acetic acid, and another is also indole butyric acid, IBA, and another synthetic auxins are there available, that are naphthalene acetic acid, that is NAA, and 2,4-D is also a synthetic auxin. Now we come for the what are the applications part of it, auxins. So first we are going to discuss about your cell elongation. So if we talk about the cell elongation, so this auxin, if we apply to the cell, it is responsible for the elongation of the cell. And next is your root initiation. So root initiation means whenever this auxin hormone, phytohormone, is being applied to the stem cuttings, it used to at low concentration, it used to initiate the root formation. And third one is your apical dominance. So by apical dominance, we means that the apical bird, it used to suppress the growth of the lateral birds. So it used to suppress the growth of the lateral birds. So if we going to have and how this has been achieved, because the apical bird, it used to produce the auxin, and that used to suppress the growth of the lateral shoots. Parthenocarpy. Fourth is your parthenocarpy. Parthenocarpy means the development of the fruit without the fertilization process. So if you want to develop a fruit without a fertilization, you can use auxin. Next is your this auxin is also responsible for uh, the not falling of the leaf and fruit. The leaves and the fruit, they do not fall when we are used to apply, because this is a growth hormone. And another is your respiration. Oxygen is also responsible for increase in the respiration process, due to which there will be conversion of ADP into ATP. Third is your second last is your callus formation. So this hormone is also having wide use in the tissue culture, where it is used for forming the callus. And in last is your, it has inhibitory effect on germinating roots. Whenever we apply low concentration of this auxin on the decapped root, that it used to inhibit the growth of the roots. Moving to the next hormone, that is your cytokinin. So cytokinin is also known as kinetin, and as the name itself suggests, that this hormone is for cell division. It used to induce the cell division, induce the cell enlargement, initiates the interfascicular cambium development, and morphogenesis, that means differentiation of the tissue, and counteract the apical dominance, that means it used to enhance the lateral bud growth. Another is you are breaking the dormancy of the seeds. So several times this has been used for breaking the dormancy of the seeds, and due to all this effect, this hormone is also known as the anti-aging hormone. And this hormone also finds its way in the root and shoot initiation and their growth. So third is your gibberellins. So gibberellins are also being used, wide variety used is there. So first important use is, yes, elongation of the stem. And another is your reversal of draftism. That means sometimes the draft plants are there, and if we apply the uh, appropriate concentration of gibberellins, they will undergo the process of elongation. That means their draftism will be removed. And same parthenocarpy, that means the obtaining the fruit without the fertilization process. And it is all, gibberellins are also the substitute for the cold treatment. Cold treatment, several times we have seen that the seeds, they need a chilling treatment for germination. So at that time, gibberellins can also act as a substitute. Seed, they are also helpful in the seed germination, breaking of dormancy. Again we are seeing that this hormone is also responsible for breaking of dormancy, used in bolting process, and also cell division in the, it can induce cell division in the cambium. ABA, or stress hormone, abscisic acid. Abscisic acid are thought to be formed in the leaf and then transported to the apex through the phloem, and they are growth inhibitors, because as your name suggests, they are the stress hormone. So they used to bud dormancy, they used to induce the bud dormancy, inhibit the growth, close the stomata during the stress condition, promote leaf senescence, falling of the leaves, they used to promote, and accelerate the abyssine process, favors closure of the stomata. That means during the time of drought or any difficult condition, they used to favor the stomatal closure. Last is your this hormone, that is your gas, or is ethylene, that it is the only hormone which is gaseous in nature. And this ethylene hormones have find the wide used in ripening of the fruits. Artificial ripening of the fruits is being done by using this hormone, that is your ethylene, and it has inhibitory effect on the growth, and it also inhibits the cell elongation. But at the same time, it used to increase the isodiametric enlargement of cells. The isodiametric means the whole cell will enlarge, it will not simply going to elongate. And another is your, it used to induce the root hair formation, stimulate abscess of the various parts of the plants, that means falling of the leaves, that is being induced by this hormone. And one important that is being seen in your thing is pineapples. The pineapples, they used to uh, for produce flower on application of ethylene, and it is also a counteract, it used to control the level of oxygen in the tissue. So that's enough for, okay, stopping over here.